Welcome to Reality Tea Times 2. But wait, we're doing our October bonus episode. So you are going to be getting this on Halloween. Happy Halloween to everyone. Hopefully, everyone has a safe Halloween this year. And spooky season has been fun. Spook season. I love spooky season. And I'm going to be in here to talk about these episodes that you have, and we'll kind of talk about the Halloween series in general. So, again, this is on Next Take Podcast. I didn't start with that, but um, so we had our Halloween series episode for series episodes for Halloween this year that started actually in the beginning of right before the week of October. So I'll kind of go through it and I'll say which episodes you're going to be getting in this bonus. So if you want to take a listen to, I will have links to all of these episodes down at the bottom. So you will or in the show notes. So you can definitely go take a listen to all of these episodes. So we started off our Halloween series actually with a kickoff episode on September 26th, and we kind of talked about the history of Dracula, where Dracula started. And I think for my listeners over here, we'll kind of maybe understand why I did that and why we talked about Dracula, which was from last year's season or last season of B90 when Razvan took Amanda, that was her name, right? Amanda to the castle of Vlad the Impaler. So we get a little bit of a deeper dive in him a little bit, where that all came from. And we also just talk a little bit about Dracula and that. So it was a lot of fun. It's a shorter episode, but I'll put the link down in the show notes so you can take a listen to it. Our next episode we kind of, with these episodes, did movie review, recap a little bit. That's what we did with kind of more horror movies or, just Halloween movies in general, or just not necessarily Halloween movies in general, but, kind of movies you'd more watch during the Halloween season. And the first movie we did, which released on October 3rd, was Sleepy Hollow, and that is there, and you can definitely take a listen to that. I believe on this episode I did do the recap of the Sleepy Hollow, the history of Sleepy Hollow. But if not, because I honestly cannot remember, I edited this episode a while ago. I will also put a link to our previous Halloween episode from last year, where that is discussed at the end of the episode. So there's that too. We did the next one, which was October 10th. We talked about the Street Trilogy, which is on Netflix, which that's 1994, 1978, and 1666. We talked about all three of those movies. So it's a very long episode, but I will have the link to in the show notes to that episode. And it was a lot of fun. And of course, if you want to watch the movie prior to listening to that episode, if you choose to listen to it, you can find all those movies on Netflix. And then the next episode we did, October 17th, we talked about Scream, the movie Scream. We mainly talked about Scream, the first Scream, the original Scream, but we did kind of talk a little bit from Scream 1 to 4, a little bit of the more recent ones that kind of popped in there as well. So that was a lot of fun, kind of talking about that as well. And again, if you want to take a listen to that episode, it is, you can get the link to in the show notes to that episode. Then the next one we did Happy Death Day, and a little sprinkle of Happy Death Day to you as well. This was a little more fun because Happy Death Day it's spooky, but not really spooky. It's more funny, and we did have a little fun with that as well. And if you want to go listen to that full episode, again, that is in the show notes at the bottom to the full episode. And then the next episode, which I may not be able to put the link to in the show notes, but we'll have the link anyways to the website and everything like that, to YouTube and whatnot. there'll be a link to that in general, because actually this one's being released today on our feed. So it may not be available for to yet the full episode by the time you get this episode, but it probably will be. I'll do my best to make sure I can get that link out to you. But we covered what more fitting of a movie to talk about on Halloween, but Halloween. And we talked Michael Myers, and we actually had a guest on that one as well, who was also on another one of our episodes earlier in the year talking about haunted places in Canada. So I will link to that episode as well if you want to hear more from him, as well, from our guest, as well as the link to that final episode. And that is our Halloween series. So for this bonus episode, I'm going to be giving you clips to Fear Street Trilogy, which you'll obviously only be getting 10 minutes of it, so you're not going to get the full thing, as well as 10 minutes of Scream. Those are the ones you're going to be getting to hopefully, interest you and to take a listen to the rest of the series. But that's it. And again, any other links that we usually link to will be in our show notes as well. YouTube website, I believe, is someone I link to as well. So everything will be there if you're interested in learning more about us and being a part of that episode. So, or about that part of that podcast, which is a lot of fun. We do a lot of different things. It's a very different podcast than what I do over here, but it's a lot of fun. So without further ado, we're going to transition into Fear Street first, the Fear Street Trilogy first, and then we will transition from that to Scream, and then that's it. I hope you enjoy. Again, like I said, it was a lot of fun doing this, and definitely have fun with it. Have fun this Halloween day. Keep safe. And we'll be back for our next bonus episode in November. Until then, that's it for me. I won't be coming back in again. We're going to go right into the clip for Fear Street. Brain right now here now, but the heart is calling Alice's name, and she ends up touching it. And when she does, she sees all of the murderers. She sees some of the murder victims as well. She also sees Cindy as well. When she looks at Cindy, and she looks dead, y'all. And what's kind of significant here is she looks dead in the way, maybe I shouldn't say that yet, but she looks dead. I was going to say that. We're going to leave it there. Just because I don't want to give it away yet. But she looks very, very dead. And I'll talk about it when we get there. And yeah, it's a lot. So when she sees this, she ends up actually like running away and ends up falling down, and she hurts herself really badly. So yeah. Back at camp though, trying to get all of the campers safe and, out of harm's way. But people are obviously missing. Ziggy wants to go look for people, but Nick is like, no, you stay here, because he understands more than anyone else here that he's going to go after Shady Siders, and she's a Shady Sider, so she needs to stay clear of all of this. So he's like, do not leave this cabin. Then Ziggy, as Nick leave, remembers something. I didn't mention this. Now, Sheila gets her comeuppance at that one point because she wanted to carry her, but instead of carrying her, carry Karrie, they ended up actually sticking her in the outhouse by trapping her with Good's brother. Saying, oh, he wants to and instead she gets carried by bugs,
roaches,
yeah. And they locked her in the outhouse. So Ziggy remembers, oh shit, Sheila, and she tries to tell Nick, but Nick is nowhere to be found, and she's like, shit. So she has to go and save her herself, because we need to go save. She left Sheila in there. Sheila's fine. And she's fine. Meanwhile, anyways, we got more people, I guess, in a cabin. Sorry, I'm confused here. He goes to the bathroom. Oh, yeah. There we go. I remember now. This is the scene that you thought that it was actually Sheila who got killed, but it was actually Kate's aunt who got killed. So it was their... She's a Shady Sider. He's from Sunnyvale. There's a lot of sex in this particular movie.
Yeah.
They're having sex as well. This is more realistic, I think. I would think, because no? How do you have sex?
Not really. A little, overdoing it with that bit, in my opinion. A little bit, not too much. Like,
I mean, okay.
You got the woman dropping in the air or something like that, but come on.
Again, how do you have sex?
I
mean, that's
you're dropping
not
in the air like
personal, but
you're dropping in the air like you're Michael Jordan dunking for the NBA finals. I
don't know. Maybe he is blessed. So you need to go a little higher up. We don't know.
Oh my God.
Anyways, they're having sex anyways. They at least finish. At least she got to at least have sex one last time before she dies. And he goes and he showers, leaves her alone, and she's smoking weed. And Tommy walks in and she's like, what the hell? And he axes her in the head. Yep.
Yep.
So that's a wrap on her. And so we go back to our duo, Alice and Cindy. And Cindy starts seeing the pink moss. And she starts to realize, I think we're close to camp. Because again, the pink moss is also in the outhouse. So she's correct. We are definitely close to camp. So meanwhile, Nick is trying to, end the game, saying it's over. Some Shady Siders are alone in a cabin. And they were actually being trapped by Sunnyvalers. And they's like, I hear Nick saying, this game's over. Like, we'll go check it out. So they're left alone, completely in the dark. And of course, here comes Tommy and kills all of them. It's like 4 or 5 of them all get killed. Done. So it's a wrap on those kids as well for things. Ziggy is at the outhouse to try to save Sheila, who I would have just left her. But Sheila, of course, is the bitch that she is, and she tries to attack. But then we hear Cindy and Alice at the outhouse as well, and one of them actually can hear the what's going on. And one of the counselors, whose name again I cannot remember, but he's a Shady Sider. He sees everything, and he sees Ziggy, and he's like, "What's going on?" And we find out that they're down there. We need to help them and all this. Nick finds the other bodies. Meanwhile, finds the other bodies that were just killed recently, and the nerve of this guy of him throwing up. Like, I want to be like, you put that throw up back in your mouth and swallow, sir. You have no leg to stand on to be throwing up over seeing some dead bodies that you caused. Anyways, meanwhile, back at the outhouse, Tommy shows up and kills, I think his name is... Okay, so yes, Gary gets killed and his body falls into one of the holes, like the outhouse holes, and falls right on top of Alice, who's already hurt. And Ziggy obviously has to run away because Tommy and Nick finds her and they run into a cabin. Tommy runs after them and, eventually does find Ziggy, and he only goes after Ziggy. He does, I think because Nick tries to protect her. That's the only reason he got hurt. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten hurt. But I think, I'm not sure exactly. I think she's able to then run away. I can't remember exactly the logistics here, but she gets out of that cabin, goes to a different cabin, which is the meeting house, I believe, is where she ended up. And, she turns music on and you just hear, "Carry on my wayward son." We heard in the beginning. And I guess the music is supposed to drown her out so he can't hear her. But then it also drowns out Cindy because she's like calling out, but no one can hear her. So we kind of see her banging on the thing to get out, whatever. Meanwhile, they're doing their thing in the meantime, but he does eventually get her or finds her because the music cuts out. And just in the nick of time, Cindy gets out and she either stabs him or something. I don't even know, but kills him. Oh, but the part that's important here that I forgot to mention, the kind of completes the Nightwing killer is while they're fighting, Ziggy gets like a burlap sack, puts it around his head, but of course it doesn't actually do anything. It just completes the look. So that's how he has the burlap sack on, is because of Ziggy.
If you didn't see him in the 94.
Well, if you saw him in 94, you still don't understand why he had this burlap sack around him, right? But you kind of then have the understanding as to why. Which I thought was like really
a really cool little nod, like it's telling the story really slowly how he become that type of monster. That was really cool. So they think it's over because he's dead, right? Well, meanwhile, Alice comes back because she found another way out. We see the buses have left, so they're literally stuck there now. But it's while Alice is there that she says, I found it. I found the witch's hand. So down there in the outhouse part, the hand of Sarah Fear's hand was found, because remember they said, I don't know if I mentioned it, her hand was cut off, whatever. So they think that her hand holds the grip on everybody. So they found the hand. So they figure if we can reunite the hand with the body, which the body they suspect is buried underneath the tree that she was hung on, which is just out, like just by the campsite, they can end the whole thing. Unfortunately, though, while they're having this discussion on all of this and gonna do this, we have other killers coming. We don't know that right away, but we do have other killers coming. And not only that, Tommy is now back alive and kills Alice. I hated this. I mean, I guess like I'm a Shonda Rhimes girl. I'm used to people you like being taken away from you, but I really hated this. But yeah, she's now dead now, and Cindy does kill Tommy again by decapitating him. I don't know what her name is in this movie again. I'm just going to call her Drew, so bear with me. Drew picks up the phone and she's like, hello. And you have like this guy on the other line who has kind of a really sexy voice, but it's fine. It's bad. And he's like, hello. And, he asks for whatever. And she's like, I think you have the wrong number. Hangs up the phone. Phone rings again. It's the same guy. And she's like, why do you keep calling me? And he's like, well, I know I'm kind of lonely, or whatever the fuck he says. And she's like, there's 1-800 numbers for that. She hangs up the phone again. And okay, children, if you don't know what a 1-800 number is, that's a number where people would call to have companionship. We'll say that. Anyway, so we kind of see her going into the kitchen. She's making popcorn, old school popcorn. You have to make on the stovetop. Because again, children, you had to actually cook popcorn on the stovetop because not everybody had a microwave, and I don't think microwave popcorn was invented yet. Let's continue. So yeah, the phone rings again, and it's the same guy, and she's like, again, why do you keep calling me? And he's like, do you have a boyfriend? She's like, no. Wrong answer. And they're like, okay, what's your favorite scary movie? Which is a thing that carries on through the entire franchise. Well, what is your favorite scary movie? Um, so eventually I think she like hangs up the phone because she starts to get a little freaked out because he's like, I don't want to know who I'm looking at. And she's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck? So she hangs up the phone. He
Mm-hmm.
calls back again. At this point, she's getting freaked out. And he, she's like, I'm going to get my boyfriend to beat you up. He's a football player and he's big and he's
Yeah.
strong and he's going to
Yeah.
kick your ass. And
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I thought you didn't have a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I lied. And, um,
And then he
and then
says his name.
yeah, it says the
Yeah.
boyfriend's name. Um, and he's like, look outside. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you know that? He's like, yeah, look outside. So she looks outside and there is the boyfriend tied up outside on the porch, the back porch. He tries to go out there to go to him. And he's like, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I'm going to say coming out of this for a quick second.
Mm-hmm.
This scene is redone in the fourth movie. This exact scene is redone in the fourth movie. Yes.
I don't
And
know.
it's perfect.
Has it been redone a few
What's
times in the
what's be
series?
what's been this particular scene?
Yes.
No. No, I
Okay.
think this is the only one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
The
okay,
fourth
that's good
movies.
then.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Because if
Um
it's done like more than two
no, it's
times,
only
that's
this
redundant.
was the only time this whole scene with like the movie trivia and everything like that. Him, the boyfriend or the love interest tied up.
Mm-hmm.
It's all that was all done in the fourth movie.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the end of the movie though, not the beginning, but it was redone in the in the fourth movie and it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Um it was good. I personally had no issues with it.
Hmm.
So yeah, he basically says, this way you could save him. Let's play a movie trivia. Let's start with a warm-up question and see if I can figure out what the warm-up question was. Cause I wrote this down, but I've been going off of memory and not my notes because I always end up doing that. Um, Give me a second.
Mm-hmm. Take
Yeah,
your
so
time.
yeah, he makes her turn off the lights so she can't see him or anything like that. So yes, start up with a warmer question, whatever. Who is the killer in Halloween? Now we just talked about Halloween. That's Michael Myers, and
Mm-hmm.
she answers Michael Myers, and he's like, "Good for you, now for the real question." She's like, "Wait a second, I just answered that." He's like,
Mm-hmm.
"Yeah, but that's easy. Everyone knows who the killer is in Halloween is." Um, you and I did before I was a Halloween girly. Name
Mm-hmm.
the killer in Friday the 13th. Now, this is a trick question. Even
Yeah.
I knew the answer to this, even though I haven't seen the movies yet. Don't worry, I will.
She
But
said she said
she said
Jason.
she said Jason, but
Yeah.
it's Jason. Technically, Jason is dead. It's
Mm-hmm.
his mom who is the killer in Friday the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Jason doesn't show up until the second movie. So yeah. So with that, unfortunately, she might still have a chance to live. Spoiler alert. No, she doesn't. But she might have a chance to live. The boyfriend, ugh, not so much. He
Mm-hmm.
ends up getting his neck slit.
Yep. Goodbye, Steve.
Goodbye, Steve. Now, it was really nice knowing you for the second that we got to see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so he says, I have another question for you though. Final question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What door am I at? Front door or the patio? Well, I don't remember which door he was at, but anyway, um, well, the patio door, because obviously he would have just slit Steve's throat. Anyways, he throws a chair through the patio, like through the window of the
Yeah.
patio, and obviously she goes running. Meanwhile, if you remember, the popcorn was on the stove. The popcorn has now
Yeah.
burnt. So
Yeah.
yeah, popcorn is just about to blow the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
If you watch Scary Movie 3, or Scary Movie 1, it does blow up. Because because that's the joke. She goes to the kitchen and she sees he's in the house. He doesn't see her, but she sees him. So what she ends up doing is she goes out into the patio through the door that's off of the kitchen and hides there. But she keeps like peeking through to the door to see if she can see where he is. I mean, I don't know what you do in this situation, but anyways, he keeps us getting closer and closer. But then we see a car that's also starting to drive up. Now, the car is her parents' car, so her parents are showing up.
Yeah.
And when she looks through the door again, he's right there, and he turns around and just I think he put his hand through the window to try and get at her. So she starts running, trying to get the attention of her parents once they pull up, thinking they're right there, so I'm going to get to them.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's also right behind her. And she's running, and he's running. Yeah. And then he gets her by stabbing her in the back. And she's down, but she has the phone in her hand.
Yeah.
And I think she still had the phone off the hook. And so she's trying to crawl. He's like right on top of her. She's trying to crawl to her parents. They are completely oblivious of what's happening. This was so sad. This was horrific. But yeah, they are so oblivious of what's happening. They go into the house. Meanwhile, she is like on the brink of death. He turns her over and just starts stabbing her again. And so yeah, they are in the house. Yeah, her parents are in the house.
Yeah.
They can hear the smoke alarms going off. They can see the smoke coming from the popcorn, and they're like, what the hell? Like, probably is completely unusual for her. Yeah. So they're like, where is she? Where is she? They're looking around. They can't find her. They I can't remember the order of this. If the father said to stay here, I'm gonna go to the neighbors or something. She picks up her mom picks up the phone, whatever reason it's happened. Yeah. Or maybe she picks up the phone first to call the police, picks up the phone, and she can hear her daughter's gurgling voice on the other end because she's being killed. And she can hear all of it. And then the father hears it too. Yeah. This is when he says, I believe, go to get in the car, go to the neighbors, call police. Yeah. And she steps outside and she screams.
And she finds out about
her daughter's not only dead, but gutted and hanging off of this tree. And that is the start of the movie, y'all.
Yeah.
So yeah, first 5 or so minutes of this movie, we already have 2 kills. So it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So then we meet Cindy Prescott in the next scene, and here, she's just doing her own thing, minding her own business, and here comes her sexy ass boyfriend, Billy Loomis, just crawling through the window like he is Dawson from Dawson's Creek.